everybody. Happy New Year. Here are the numbers to help us wrap up what we saw in 2023 and more importantly, what we've been experiencing in very early 2024. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. All right. So this is Prince William County and its market activity new pendings. New pendings is what took place in this last 30 days. So as you can see, a typical bell curve for Prince William County, tapering off at the end of the year. But I want to show you something because if I just go to a different neighborhood, let's use Montclair as an example. Look how different that is. So when you have these large populations like the entire county, what we are seeing in all three cases, Stafford, Prince William County, and in Fairfax, is that typical bell curve where we saw a lot more activity in the spring, which we always do, and then it curves off towards the holiday. But our inventory was so strained this year that neighborhood by neighborhood, you can see like no sales in October, November, December because nothing was on the market. Or you can see something like this in Montclair where we like doubled our output of sales. Now, granted, this is only 10 sales, but because we were so low in October and really had been pretty low for several months, that this felt like a very big jump. And in fact, it has been. It's been a ramp up to the new spring, which is called January 1st. So let's take a quick look at the other counties. Even a more severe bell curve, that very, very little sales in December. But again, you could do a neighborhood du jour in Fairfax County and probably see very different results. And Stafford. So they had a peak just in April and May. Those are new pendings, which means the closings were over here somewhere. And then it just dropped down. The interesting part about this is the change from last December to this December really wasn't that significant, less than 1% drop. And when you go up here where it was peak, it's a 25% drop, almost 25% drop. So the peak isn't necessarily a good indication of where we were performing this year versus this past year, 2023, compared to 2022, because even at our peak of 250 sales, we're significantly lower than where we were that same time last year. And at least when you come down to these sales here, it's not that drastic of a change. It's kind of where we always are this time of year. Okay, the one that is where most people focus is going to be on pricing trends. So since we're on Stafford, we'll look at the pricing there. And here we are, beginning of the year, that was a 5% increase. By the end of the year, it's only showing a 0.5% increase over where we were this time last year. But overall, you're seeing some growth, all growth. And on average, here's one that's not, right? Randomly, this particular month, they must have had better sales in April. But overall, what we're seeing is anywhere from like a 5% to 8% price improvement. So that's how much equity people got when they bought last year and gained this year. That's pretty good, better than most funds. Let's take a look at Prince William County. Again, we're seeing that's a 13.7% growth, 4%, 7%. When we go to our peak, it's still growth. So Prince William County of the three actually performed the best in terms of the amount of growth that they got. So with sales prices starting out on median, which is the most relevant, 474, almost 475, up to 526 as a median sales price. And that is for all types. So if we separated that out for detached, we'd see something potentially a little bit more drastic or a little bit more subtle, but the devil is always in the details on these numbers. So in the end, the one that's most relevant to you is, what are things that are like my house getting in my exact neighborhood? And we're happy to do that for you at any time. Take a look at Fairfax County. They're seeing some strong growth as well, 6% at the start out, then some more modest numbers, just all falling under 1%. There was one month where it was a slight decrease in price, but that's a 1 month, random what was for sale that month versus what was for sale another month. When you get down to the end of the year, almost 9% really, and the median sales price in the county for all types of real estate, 670, as compared to at the beginning of the year was 610. That's a pretty good growth, right? If your median home gains somewhere on the order of $60,000 over the course of a year, you're happy. Okay, so we're gonna stop sharing because the slides are no longer relevant. I want to tell you that we don't have January's numbers clearly because we're only halfway through. What I want to explain to you is what we're seeing in January is a kaboom, right? So we had a couple listings that we put on in early January. One that was modestly priced and was designed to get a lot of attraction. We had more than 60 showings in the 4 days that we ran. We have multiple offers. It will go under contract, probably about 30 to 35,000 over what it listed at. Then we have another one, a little more unique home that appeals to a much smaller population because it's a 1 level with no basement, a 1-car garage, and but very nicely updated. That one we put at a higher price because there was no wiggle room on where that price could float to. It had to start there. And we're getting multiple offers on that and strong showings. So put a buyer under contract in Chantilly yesterday, multiple offers, ended up having to go from list price of $485, ended up closing at $516, or going under contract rather at $516. And the offers were essentially, in order to stay competitive, the buyer had to waive everything, had to waive the home inspection. It was a newer home, not a big deal. It was in very good condition. Had to waive financing and appraisal. A little tougher because we're still working on appraisals with the numbers for the last 180 days. And remember those December drops. So, but we were very, very excited to get under contract and to win that multiple offer situation, because even at 516, that home is going to be 10, 20, 30,000 more than that by the time end of spring or end of summer market has occurred. So the lesson is that the market has definitely rebounded. The new spring is January, and we would love to help you strategize to do whatever it is your goals are for real estate in 2024. If it's to sell and go to the beach house that you already own, or if it's to sell and buy, or if you don't have a home to sell and you just are ready to either buy a new primary residence or something that you can invest in. All those things are right. All those things are very possible. The interest rates are continuing to go down. And so that's a positive ignite in the market. Thanks for listening. I look forward to talking to you soon about your personal goals and how we can help. Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.